Hey Shakers, welcome to Handshaking, where Matt Holmes interviews top entrepreneurs on one personal branding tip you can implement instantly. That means today. That means right now, right this very second. And if you need help with launching your personal brand, go to handbrander.com.
Welcome back to the Handshaking podcast, where we interview top entrepreneurs on one personal branding strategy for you to take home, put in the bank, and execute on today, Shakers. Today, we're here with Mark Asquith, the co-founder of podcastwebsites.com. Mark, welcome.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Great. Could you tell us a little bit about podcast websites?
Oh, for sure. Podcast Websites is your all-in-one solution for podcasting. Everything you need to get online. We take all the hassle out of it. We make the tech easy. 24/7 support, integrated media hosting, and download stats. And your designed website looks fantastic. Everything you need, man.
Amazing. We're going to have to talk to you after this conference. We're filming here again still at Podcast Movement, where we're filming all the episodes, Shakers. And Mark, we'll definitely be in contact after recording these 12 episodes. So in 2 minutes, could you tell me a little bit about your background before launching the company?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a Northern English geek. Live for comic books and family and friends and all the geeky stuff that people like. But really, I'm big into tech and entrepreneurship and just making ideas reality. That sounds really cliche, but that's just what I've done for years. So yeah, host my own show, Excellence Expected. So do a little Google search. Really just been in business since I can remember, since about age 22. Quit my job because I hated working for people and set up a design and digital agency, set podcast websites up, involved in a tech startup, which is an AI startup, do my own show, do my own thing. That's pretty much it. And I'm just a geek, man.
That sounds fun. So before we talk about personal branding, what did you hate about your job?
Oh, people, man. Like the people. Why would you spend your life working for people with whom you've got nothing in common to make them more money? It makes no logical sense in life. So that's what I hated. And do you know what? Authority sucks. I'm terrible with authority. Don't tell me this. Like, I don't want to hear your thoughts. I don't want to know about your opinion. Mm-hmm. No, I just deal with authority really badly.
How do you make the financial part of it work?
Do you know, I kind of transitioned in. I was, I didn't make the jump into business immediately. I did contract freelance work, digital consulting for Ministry of Defence and the National Health over in the UK. I made that transition by being a freelancer for a while and then set my other business up on the side of that.
What was the hardest part about the transition?
The hardest part was breaking the traditional idea of what you should do with your life, especially because I come from an old mining town in the north of England. So you end up with this kind of, this idea of what your life should be because it's just beat into you. And that's what everyone does. The minute you step away from that, therein lies the problem. So that was the biggest challenge, was just convincing people that this is all right. You know, it's weird.
I bet a lot of our listeners could relate to that.
For sure.
Do. So let's talk about personal branding a little bit, Mark. Could you start off by telling me, when did you start taking personal branding seriously?
Well, that's a really good question, actually. I think I did it kind of by accident when I started the podcast, and I sort of kind of frowned upon personal branding as one of the big buzzwords, you know, like content marketing and SEO and all the things that actually exist and do make a difference. But if you're not in the zone for those things, you just assume that it's kind of bull. And that was what I approached personal branding like for such a long time. And I started doing the podcast, Excellence Expected, and I was like, wait a second, kind of people believe what I'm saying here. People are listening to what I'm saying, so I've got to watch what I'm doing. Yeah. And I've got to make sure that what I'm saying is genuine, and I've got to make sure that I'm not a dick about it, and I've got to make sure that I'm represented how I want people to know me. So I'm just pretty straight talking. You know, I'm a Northern English guy. I just say what I see, and I swear a lot. And people, don't worry, I'll not swear. So I just wanted people to just get that from me and just be like, okay, when I meet you in person, I understand you already. And I think at that point, that's when I took it seriously. That's when I started thinking to myself, do you know what? This is how I look online, how I look to people is representative of me as a business person, as me as someone creating a lifestyle that they want. Like, I have to do it in my own parameters. So I did it. That's when I started doing it, maybe 2-3 years ago.
Okay, so it sounds like you covered most of my questions there. When you started the podcast? How? By starting the podcast. And my next question would be, why did you start? But since it was on accident, could you tell us about why you continued to take it seriously? Yeah,
that's such a good question. I think there's a phrase in there somewhere around personal brand optimization. And I think if you think about search optimization, conversion optimization, like, you never finish with these things. It's by virtue of doing these things, it's optimizing it continually. And I think personal brand is a very similar thing insofar as you just need to continue to do this kind of work. And that's why I took it seriously, because I continue to develop as a person. I've become more confident in sharing the things I would never have shared before, like things like reading the comics or the fact that I've got a giant dog called Pete. You know, my podcast listeners know that. The people that I do business with, they know that. So I continually change as a person. So my personal brand has got to reflect that. And that's why you can't not continue to do it.
Well, then I got to ask, Mark, what's one other secret our listeners might find interesting about you?
Wally West is the best Flash. He's my favorite DC comic superhero. That's no one knows that.
Tell me something more embarrassing.
No, that's embarrassing enough, man. Okay, what's embarrassing? What's the first most embarrassing thing I can think of? I'm a terrible swimmer. I'm scared of deep water. I dance like Chandler off Friends, and I'm going bald.
Going bald.
Going bald, man. Look at the receding hairline.
I don't believe it. Okay, so let's go ahead on to the action item. When it comes to launching a personal brand, what's one specific action item you recommend for the Shakers to take action on instantly after this episode?
Straight away, start publishing more stuff.
So what kind of stuff?
Anything. And I was going to sort of go a bit deeper into that. So first of all, start publishing more stuff. And I said stuff for a very specific reason. Everyone publishes their own type of thing. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is they will try and do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
So if they see someone doing really well blogging, they think, shit, I've got to do more blogging. But actually, you just stick to what you're exceptional at and publish more of that kind of stuff. And when you think you are doing as much as you can, do more. Because that is the only way that you can prove your worth, is just by putting good quality value out there. And everyone can do that. Everyone can up the game. Everyone can do more of that. So just whatever your thing is, just do more of that.
Okay, so if this is like an exam question and it's multiple choice, we're going to have text, audio, and video, right? Or I guess D, all of the above. Are there any others? Podcasts, blogs, a video series? You're talking online stuff.
Anything that you do already, I think you should do more of. But I think, if you want to take that a step further, start embracing live streaming for your personal brand. That's a huge thing. Facebook Live, dive into Facebook Live. I was talking to Guy Kawasaki. I've had him on the show before, and I was talking to him. I was like, listen, man, what's the deal? What's going on? What do you see the next few years? And he said the same thing. He was like, look, live streaming is Facebook Live, just being on Facebook Live, because that's a game changer. Yeah, and the way he pitched it, the way he spoke about it was so logical. Like everyone's already there, so why would you not? So I think if you want to add a new channel, if you want to add something that you're not doing already, get into the live streaming game. You've got to get into the live streaming game.
There we go, Shakers. Well, that's it. If I understand Mark correctly, number one, you have to find what you're most comfortable with and start publishing stuff there.
Yes, do more of the stuff that you know you can do.
There it is. And if you're not sure, definitely consider live streaming as one of the first.
For sure.
Okay, cool, Mark. If we want to find you online, where can we find you?
You can probably go to the best place, podcastwebsites.com. I had to think about that. I had to think about my own website. Yeah, podcastwebsites.com.
Very cool. Mark, well, thank you so much for joining. And Shakers, what's up, man? Thank you so much for listening to the show. There's like 114 or 44,000 podcasts. What? Like, there's a lot of free content. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll keep it short. Peace, yo.
Whoa, Shakers. There it is. Take action today and keep up the hustle. Don't forget to check out handbrander.com. And on behalf of Matt and the entire Handshaking team, thank you for listening.